risk to a much greater extent. And I'd learned a lot about foreign exchange and foreign exchange risk at Citibank, so I set up doing that sort of business. And then in 1979 I was elected quite out of the blue to the European Parliament. This happened because one day the telephone rang and our local Member of Parliament, British Member of Parliament, called and said, "You're always writing to me saying how the world should be a better place and what I should be doing about it. And here's your chance, you know." We're having this election, the first election to this European Parliament. We don't have many people offering to do it. This is a hopeless seat. It's going to be Labour, Socialist dominated anyway. Put your name in because of the competition, good experience, so on and so forth. So I did, and much to everybody's astonishment, including my own, I not only got adopted by the party, but also elected by the electorate. So I found myself in Brussels and Strasbourg for 5 years. The first day I came into this huge hemicycle in Strasbourg where we sat looking at it saying, "What am I doing here?" A very distinguished gentleman came up to me and said, "Are you Purvis?" I said, "Yes, I'm Purvis." He said, "I remember rocking you on my knee in Hamburg in 1946 in your kilt." And I'm wearing my kilt. This was a chap who got to know Father when we were living in Hamburg. And after that, quite often I would be incorporated in these German meetings, and I often asked this chap, Casimir, why am I the only one always included from outside? And he said, "Well, actually it's because your father was in charge of food and agriculture in the north of Germany at that time, and he had control of all this stuff, and it was the only thing anybody wanted was food. And he could have taken advantage of that situation, and he didn't. And he helped us to revive our agriculture and business and get going again, and brought the Germans back into the business, and we respected him for that. So anyway, all this was all part of my getting to rather positive about the European project. So anyway, I did 5 years. Then they changed my boundaries because of various things that had been happening, and I lost in the war, which I was out again for 15 years. I then took up helping various companies with their European projects. I had 3 very good American clients. One was Wellington Management Company in Boston, another was the James River Corporation in Richmond, and the third was the National Commerce Bank in Memphis. So another 1 or 2 other things which I helped with the financial and marketing European business. Got involved in an Italian family who helped me a bit, who involved me with who were involved with George Soros and all that sort of thing. So we got quite a lot in that area of asset management. So anyway, 15 years, and then in '99 they changed the voting system for the European Parliament in the UK to proportional voting as opposed to first past the post, and that meant Scotland was now all one constituency instead of 7 or 8, and so I put my name forward again and came in number 2 for the Conservatives. We got 2 places, so I was back in again for the next 10 years, 2 lots of 5 years, and then retired in 2009, 7 years ago. And since then I've been a relaxed pensioner working on the family tree. So that's my potted history. Yeah.
Did you? Unrelated question, John, to genealogy, but what's Scotland's feeling now after UK's
Brexit?
left?
Well, yeah.
The
Well,
EU.
of course, Scotland didn't vote to leave the European Union. It voted 62% to stay in, as opposed to the British one, which was just under 52% to go out. So Scotland feels quite aggrieved about this. And the other thing is, of course, Northern Ireland also voted to stay in, and Gibraltar voted to stay in, all for very slightly similar reasons. And so there's some argument about whether Scotland might, and the Scottish nationalists who now dominate politics, won every single one except 3 seats in the Westminster Parliament the last time. 1 Labour, 1 Conservative, 1 Liberal, and all the rest. Other 56 were nationalist. So there's a strong nationalist element. The only trouble is that a lot of the independents was previously predicated on the North Sea oil, which was was bringing in huge amounts of money, and of course at a high price of oil and a lot of oil, it was okay. Now there's much less oil, and also the prices collapsed, so it's not going to be quite as easy next time. So the jury's out. I think there's quite a strong sentiment in Scotland for certainly being involved in Europe, but a large part, of course, of our exports and things go to England, so we don't particularly want to be cut off from England. So I suppose what we hope is that if the UK makes a decent sort of arrangement with Europe where we're still pretty much involved in Europe, then fine. But if they cut us off from Europe, then I think there could well be a reaction, especially when you also add in the Gibraltar issue, which is a conflict with Spain about the border there, Northern Ireland, which would then have a border with the Southern Ireland and end up with customs posts and things, and who knows what in terms of conflagration there. So I think the jury's out and we're waiting to see where they come.
Did you end up being related to the Purvis in Des Moines?
No, it's not as yet. Sadly, he's died, but I have he's one of the other Purvis families, which I now have a very large file on, and so we did build up a large family tree for him, but we haven't yet found the collection. Probably further back,
upstream.
Upstream there somewhere. But Purvises basically come from the northeast of England and the southeast of Scotland. So all that sort of thing. So everything from Angus, Fife, Berwickshire down to Durham, County Durham, Northumberland, County Durham.